Hi guys, I'm Sarve Gujrati, and this year, as a part of First Cut, we are starting this podcast series. And since you have dedicated your lives to make this festival a little better each year, we really want to know what your experiences are. So let's just start with each one, and because I'm familiar with Manish's work because I met him. He was the chair when I started college, but I don't know about Param and Dinesh. So Dinesh, can we just start with you as to your journey with First Cut?
Yeah, sure. So, I think it was in 2015, in my third year of fame, this was started. Um, so, I was not completely part of the team, and I actually didn't know. I mean, this is it was being done by the seniors. I mean, the postgraduates of Flake. So the dean was suggesting that I go, and because I used to work while studying. I mean, I was making corporate films and I know a lot of student filmmakers. I knew a lot of student filmmakers, and so I helped them with entries, and that's how I was part of it when it initially started. Then the next year, I got an opportunity to be the chair of the festival. So I took it up, and yeah, that was in 2016, and then I tried, my best to basically get a lot of entries. And back then, it was only a film festival only for people in India and only student filmmakers. I think right now things have changed, so I'm not sure what is happening now. But yeah,
No,
Param was with me in the team.
it's interesting because right now, if we see First Cut, there's no PG students there.
Uh-huh.
It's completely UG. They don't even apply for it.
Okay.
So was
That's
there this?
something that happened with us also. Like when by the time Dinesh graduated and we were the ones heading it, running it, there was no PG interaction left anymore. And so after the next time after Dinesh, when I was heading it, the only change I think that we did was to revamp the logo because we were fed up of it and open it up to international students.
Oh
The
yeah.
point was only that we were not getting many entries from India other than from FTI or SRFTI. And we're really keen to see what would we get from other countries because, and if the other countries are participating, then I think it would be a more competitive field. And students would really like to, come and see something which otherwise they wouldn't. That was a thought.
I think you guys started animation category also, right?
Yeah. The idea being that there's those kind of schools there and they are supposed to make animated films as part of the curriculum, so might as well invite them over. We'll have a wider audience, wider reach. Point was always to connect with as many contemporaries as possible.
So animation got added after First Cut, after the 2 years of First Cut.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there were only three categories.
It was when I was doing it. It was the same from what how they initially started. There was fiction, non-fiction, and nano category.
Also, I just couldn't help but notice Dinesh laughed when you were Param was talking about the logo change. And similarly, even Manish, we also had a logo change in 2019. Whoa, what is the story behind the logo for First Cut?
I wasn't really like focusing on the logo as such, whatever was made, and I think it's like very poor design, and but I wasn't really concerned about that. I mean, but then for me it was to take it out more into the market, as in like make everybody know what first is, take it to a wider audience, like what Param was saying. But my thing was I didn't even think about it, internationally, because there are thousands and thousands of festivals. Ours is going to be one among them, and there has to be something in India that has to, sort of stand out, and also, you know, um, just take student films. For me, it was that I didn't want to. We, if Param remembers, We used to check their ID cards of college and their age and a lot of things, because the competition is not really fair. I felt if that wasn't there, So it was just like there are a lot of film schools, and leaving film schools also, a lot of people are so enthusiastic about making films. And there was this person I remember in 2016 in nano category, uh, from Annapurna Film School here in Hyderabad. Somebody I know, he made a film for first time in nano category. So it was 1 minute film, and he came to the festival because he was selected, and he won there. He got cash prize. And by the time he went back to Hyderabad, it wasn't through First Cut, and he had to upload it on YouTube for First Cut. So by the time he went back and he realized that it had like, I think almost 1 million views.
Ooh.
I
Wow.
think Scoop Whoop or somebody picked up and then started promoting it because that was really good. And,
Was it that
was under
Switch
1
one?
minute. Yeah, the Switch one. I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
it?
I also don't remember. I just remember seeing that.
Yeah, that Switch, right? So I can't even recall his name. So that guy got. I mean, then he started getting like articles in the newspaper and all of that about that film. So it was interesting because I knew that he made it only for first time. He saw the poster and he thought he should make something and see what that. I think he's seen the best of it.
That's a good story, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, help someone make
Right.
it big in a small way.
And the best thing is cash prize. I think we gave a good enough amount of cash prize. I think no festival, very few festivals give cash prize. Once the title is there, that is only a big achievement. But I think this cash prize will push them because it's especially student filmmakers, and they'll get motivated to make more and participate again the next year or the coming years. And it's a word of mouth, just go about telling it to everybody, their juniors and other guys in college or something. It helps us with everything.
Like coming back to the logo thing, I really like
Oh,
the
yeah.
logo there's right now.
Yeah, we
Cool
should
and-
give credits to Manish and the team.
It was like most of the credits for the logo actually goes to Siddhi. I think we
wow.
reached a point in First Cut where these guys had sorted everything else out. They Anahita and Nisha had sorted out how to get entries, how to do the selection. So it basically became our job became more of the branding. Uh, we thought we should give First Cut a new look because they had sorted everything else out. We knew how to reach out to students. We knew how to reach out to other colleges, international students. We had a platform. So and we had Siddhi as the chair, and she's a great graphic designer. So
True. So the
Good, yeah,
last
yeah,
star
I met
logo is
her.
at a
also
time.
made by Siddhi only. So she's made 2 First Cut logos.
right, yeah. And Siddhi was the one. I think she was like she doesn't like what she made for First Cut previously anymore. So she was like, let's change it.
But I like, how, if you see Param, I think they're doing so much work of branding and marketing now. If I see the Instagram page, I recently, to be frank, I wasn't even following it recently after we spoke for this podcast. I just checked it out, and really good how interactive they keep, and how they go about posting every day and
Yeah.
invest so much time into it, and it has become more than just the festival it used to be.
Definitely. I remember speaking about it when we were there that we should have an active Facebook page. And
Right,
there's
yeah,
lots of
yeah.
linking.
We only had Facebook page then. Are you guys up on Film Freeway now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get entries from there?
Yeah, a lot. Film Freeway, Fest Home, and we got contacted by a film submission website that they
Okay.
wanted us to be part of it. So
Wow.
that was new this year. So yeah, 3 different. So most of our international entries comes from there only. and even they know now. So it's काफी interesting.
But Param, since I think his batch, they went international. Why was that? Why did that happen? I mean,
The thought was solely this, that from the 2 years that I was involved with you
right?
in editions, the the winners were obviously the FTI and SRFTI guys or someone from Annapurna. They're like, if these 3 or 4 schools are competing, then might as well open it up to the international audience.
But what I felt was that once we go international, like I mean, so if we are looking now, I think whoever is the jury for this, I don't know what criteria they look at. Is it just the story? Is it of course it will be like all the crafts together. And if you see internationally, their budgets or their locations or their equipment and I mean technologies, everything is different, and they're very privileged than people here trying to do a lot of films. Some are shooting on phone and some are shooting, and they're doing good work here also. But I think that
Yeah.
competition sort of. So is it like a different category, international, or is it all clubbed?
It's all clubbed.
It's all
Oh, okay.
It's all club.
So that's what I felt when I saw that when Param and all of them were doing only. I was like, oh, shouldn't have been.
But
this way,
when I
I
don't know if
think
you
like
did
what
you
happens
attend
is
any
like
screening?
I haven't. I'm really sorry, but yeah, what I feel is like, so if it's me, and if I see that it's an international festival, I think I automatically, I don't know, this is me, but yeah, automatically feel that I think it's too much of a competition, so I should not participate. There's no chance for me to sort of even get selected into that few top 10 or top 5. That is what I feel. I think most of them do that. I mean, once you go international, it sounds like, for the festival, it's good. It's an international festival. But I think it should have just been the student festival of India. I don't know, you guys have your reason, but yeah.
So when we got entries in our first year, there was really no difference here.
Is it?
There was
Okay.
there was those non-film students. There were a bunch
Uh-huh.
of 4 engineers from Tamil Nadu. They
Okay.
had made a film
Uh-huh.
on a D5 shot in a
Uh-huh.
jungle.
Uh-huh.
Some creepy ass thriller story that they had made. It was fantastically mounted. It
I
was done
think
up
I
like
think I know them. I think.
it was some folk story that they had taken up and
Uh-huh.
mounted it like a music video.
Right.
And the production design was on point because they had so much ambience that all they
Mhm.
had to do was concentrate on their actors and basic bare minimum setting, which they did
Mhm.
really well. And that film won also, I think. And
Oh,
you look at then they were competing with a film from Poland, and that was that
oh.
guy's graduation film. And he had,
Mhm.
like you said, great budget. He pulled off like a one shot, I think, in a
Mhm.
15-minute film.
Mhm.
Beautifully done. Again, a thriller. But then these guys won. So I think
Okay.
jury would also
Yeah.
understand that
Probably. Yeah.
it's about your craft and not
Right.
your.
Right. No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And those guys would have enjoyed. I'm pretty sure that those friends had come over also to attend the fest.
Yes. Yeah. I think that is going to be a great experience. Like people used to love when they
When they
come
come,
down,
yeah.
stay on our campus, have a screening.
That's
So
the
how are
beauty.
the? I also see that you guys are. So I think Param got that open air screening. Have you done that, Param? When I was doing it, it was for me just about changing that. You know, to open air screening, and there was this place in Pune called Lost the Plot.
Yeah.
I was trying to meet them so many times, and I thought I should get them to come here and set up something, and we have something different than the usual screening. I was looking at like bean bags and open air screening because Flame is such a beautiful campus, and thought of doing it differently. I used to talk to Param because he was doing marketing and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. We
So,
couldn't pull
but
it off.
I couldn't pull it off. Yeah, Manish is
Anayata,
badged in.
no, Anayata and Nisha's batch did.
Oh,
They,
so that
yeah,
happened.
they,
So it was Lost the Plot came, or you
no,
guys did it by
like,
yourself?
No, we only set it up inside Flame, just all of us. We just put up a projector and
Right.
just, I think for Anayata and Nisha's, yeah, we did. Oscars also happens around the same time. So we just played Oscar winners and
Wow.
nominees uh,
Okay.
on top of Kabir Terrace. So that's how, yeah, I think it was Anayata and Nisha's idea.
Nice.
But just coming back to that international thing, I feel it's motivating for Indian students to submit to an international film festival, also because First Cut is completely free. They just
Right.
have to
That's one good thing. Yeah.
they just have to fill up a form, and their film reaches like thousands of
Mm-hmm.
people.
Right. So who's now like filtering these films out to top 10? Do you have a jury for that also?
So yeah, so I think in our first it was features that used to get it down to top 10. But this year we contacted, like actually last year we contacted two organizations in Pune that are related to
Okay.
film. So one
Okay.
is Bhat Films, which is led by Umesh Kulkarni. He's a renowned name in the industry. So the
Right.
that come out will also be like credible. And another is Living Bridge. So these two organizations like add to the credibility of films that are filtering. What did you guys have during your times? Because I'm not aware.
I think I wouldn't want to share that. Yeah, but
So
it's really amazing, man, how you guys have taken the festival over the years.
No,
I
I
remember
agree.
Dino for us now when and you're here. We literally found anyone who had a remotest interest in films. So we then
Tucker
River, Rashid.
Tucker was
Yeah.
watching films. He's like, so one of our one of my juniors, Param's batchmate,
Yeah.
he watches a lot of films and he's very much interested in this. And it was like, at that time, I think there was too many entries for the first time. Did not expect so many. And couldn't give it to, professors alone because the time and all of that. So we gave it to some professors and some of them, I think Param, Nihal and Tucker, these guys have watched and,
True.
so yeah, that happened. I don't know what Param did.
No, we started giving it to faculties.
Uh-huh.
Shubda, Ravikant,
Okay.
Mochish, all the FSC faculties, and then for
Right.
animation we have contacted some faculties from MIT
Uh-huh.
who, not from MIT, from a school which had sent us 0 entries. Somehow we found a contact, so she should be unbiased, is what we thought.
Okay.
And we'd given fairly little, like we'd given them 30 films to watch in about 2 weeks' time, so they should have pulled it off pretty easily.
Yeah.
And I
But
think that
some of them, I
lasted
think,
till
sorry,
last
yeah.
year. That
Last year?
yeah.
Okay, the same like professors watching it.
Yeah, I think it was last year when the professors
Yeah.
just said no, we can't watch films anymore. We have watched.
Which is what I was coming to. Guys, you all of it like headed First Cut at different years, and it has been like a different experience because it grew like every year. I think it somehow added to the experience that now you're working in the industry at like various different levels. Do you think somehow the working for a festival has had a different impact on you for it?
It does give you that confidence of pulling something off, organizing something. That confidence comes in handy all through your life, I think.
But then to first like is it different when you go outside and like meet these new like industry professionals after like having done like of a festival where they might have submitted, I'm just hopeful here, they might have submitted films and at different levels that too. So do you think it somewhat like adds to it like you said?
It's a very different experience for me. Like when we're heading First Cut, there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders on paper, but I never felt that responsibility. And while you're working, I'm handling pretty much what? I'm handling dates for 30 actors, and yet it's as if I have a mountain on my shoulders. So the whole experience changes, yeah. There's very little responsibility when you're in college. Life is life is tricky, man. Because
Yeah, I agree. I agree to what Varun is saying. I think for me, how it helped me. See, for me, I think so. I don't know if you know. I work as an executive producer now. I work as a producer. So for me, it was more like organizing that whole event. You know, and films is something I want to be in. So I think that was pushing me, and that confidence also came from our dean back then, like Mr. Rakshit was. So he used to push me, saying, "I think you can easily do it. So you should do it or something." So I was like, "Okay, let me give it a try." And for me, so it's like doing production here, but that is like what Parav is saying. That is super small scale. I mean, now you guys have taken it, and it is massive. But for us back then, it was not a lot, like what Param is saying, because we were also me, Param, we were all part of Kurukshetra or every other fest that was happening there, and it was just like one of the small events that was happening there. And it was more about socializing, bringing in more entries, and bringing in jury. So you go, you try to get some known faces, so more people come to watch the films, because to get the audience, even people from Flame, to drag them to the screening is difficult.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
is it
so
still the case, Sarvesh?
oh yeah,
Yeah. It has changed though. It's like the last open air screening place to sit, as in they were like standing in the back,
wow.
with their blankets and everything. So the it has changed a little bit, but the it's not that great.
What's the team size now?
So we are 105 this year.
Oh my god. I
It
think
has
Param, that
definitely
they
changed.
will,
It has.
yeah. It's just about them going and sitting there, I feel. At least for us, I think when I was doing it, I think there were just 12 people or max 15 people in the team doing everything. So that's not like it was very, very small. So, and
You
it
know,
was
what
just
was your batch size?
my batch size was what, 90,
We were
96 or
Yeah.
something.
92. And by
Yeah.
the end, when we graduated, we were 86 something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The batch size, my batch size was almost 300.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And I think Salvation's batch size is even more than that.
Yeah, I think it's more. Plus, the coming years they've increased, so I think there'll be more people like working for First Cut. It'll be bigger than
Z.
what we expect.
No, that itself, like I think so many people being on board makes it so massive, and will push whoever is doing it will push everybody to do more, and I
Yeah,
think things can be very, very organized, and that's like a film crew, man. I mean, so it's good.
I think what Anayata and Nisha's batch really did well was they made First Cut like an event. Like the theme that year was Carnival. Uh,
Mhm.
so it was like there was nothing that was there in Kuru but not in First Cut. We had like big food stalls. We had like as much as we could do possibly, and then we just tried to like step it up the next day, and then these guys took it even further ahead. So I think when we made it like an event, we tried
Mhm.
to seduce film students with food and like fun films and like popcorn while watching the films and all of that.
Nice.
That's when you got more participation. And then they would come for the popcorn, they would like a film, they would watch three more films and then leave.
Mhm. Wow.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cool, yeah.
interesting. Which batch was that who got Kani to Flame?
Oh, the
You guys.
yeah. You know Kani, I worked with Kani recently on the
So my first film, Kani was going to be part of it, but she had a problem with Hindi, and so she had to back out. Uh, yeah, so that's how I knew Kani, and I was like, okay, Kani is coming, and then film also was being
yeah, her film Counterfeit Kunku played
there.
at
Yes,
First Cut.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's nice. So you guys also screen feature festival films, is it? No?
Yeah. We screened, that was the only film we screened. These guys screened, you guys screened something last year, Sarvesh, didn't you?
Sorry.
You guys screened a film last year, huh?
Yeah. So we screened this film called Amiz,
Yeah.
uh, which was directed by Bhaskar Hazarika, and the producer also came. So that was the first time we had like a producer on board who was talking about how she
Producer is
would.
what? Anurag?
No, Anurag I think presented the film. It was produced by Anupama Bose, and she was also there. So
Nice.
it was interesting to like see. So this year we're also continuing the tradition of at least getting one screening done at first cut of a film that people would want to see, and I hope we have
That's a
like
good move, yeah, actually.
So how are
So,
you trying
that's
to do
interesting.
it this year? I mean,
So we're working the same way as like all the years, except we will be screening everything on YouTube, and the panel will take us separately. So this year we are differentiating between the audience and the jury. So the jury will watch their film separately, the audience will watch the film separately.
might be challenging.
So I hope it works. Yeah. So wait, I'll come on to something interesting. So all of you are working in the industry at different levels. So like I just wanted to know the differences in department. Like I know Manish is an AD, but Param is also an AD, I think.
Yeah.
How is it different in the industry then? Like the various jobs that you do, the various roles that you do.
For me personally, the film set has been I've just very naturally I've ended up treating it as a college project or as a college thing, because I was also like, it was my first project. So while there were responsibilities on me, it never felt like a very big responsibility, because for at least for small mistakes I was forgiven, because it was my first project. So it was very easy for me to take it as a college project, and in that sense, First Cut did help me a lot. Uh, because it was essentially the same thing. It was after a point, your the work that you're doing on a film set stops being creative, and it's mainly just managing and uh, doing things right, maintaining the hygiene of communication and all of that, uh, which I think we did pretty well in First Cut. So so I just had to continue it with another set of people in another place. Uh, uh, like from what we do is very different from Dinesh in the sense uh, I mean that's the definition of our jobs.
So we give
But
requirements and Dinesh fulfills them.
yeah,
Or rather, he does not fulfill them and
yeah.
tells us why can't you fulfill them.
Is it the case, Dinesh?
Yeah, I think yeah, Param said it. So right now, I think I have bigger responsibilities for me now. So I worked on 4 films as an EP, an executive producer. Then this film that I'm doing now, I got an offer as a producer. But I still didn't hire an EP because I thought I can do that job too. And because I mean, to basically, yeah, they are doing really big projects. So coming to the scale, mine's like low budget films. But yeah, I have experienced both making like a festival film and a commercial indie film.
How is it different?
Um, it's really very different. I mean, Param has seen me in when I was in Kolkata. That was my first film. Super challenging. Uh, so in festival films, like it's very detailed. Everything is very detailed and has a lot of meaning to it. While in commercial films, you can skip a few things and go. It is easier. Making festival films, I think, is much more difficult if you're not going completely in details. For me, like it was super challenging. That being my first film and happening in a city that I'm not from. So I was in Kolkata and making this film called Srishti. Don't know if you know about it. We made it to Mami in India Story Academy this year. So that film was so festival film, that's what like I'm saying, because everything is looked at when you're going to send it to like international festivals and so much audience and various uh, kinds of people. And here in commercial film, it's about making things in that budget and just going about making some money and selling it and then getting another one. You know.
So I visited Dinesh when he was making that in Kolkata. We happened to be in the same city. So I think one difference that I noticed was that on a film like Srishti, where the DOP, the director, the production designer, they're all staying in one rented apartment, and they're gonna be there for what 2-3 months, and
Yeah, there for
everyone
five
had
months.
full ownership of the project. Like from the
Yeah,
moment they wake up to the time they go to bed, they're talking about the film, they're talking about the music for the film, something about the film that they're making, which I don't think you ever see on a commercial project. Commercial project,
yeah,
a shift, 9 to 9
right.
at 10 o'clock. I'll raise my hands and go home and sleep.
Yeah.
The only guy who's taking the film to his bed is probably the director, which is not the case at
Yeah,
this indie films, which is amazing. Yeah.
true. And also, there's like what Param was saying. Another interesting thing for me, I think I would not get into making like films that are of higher budgets, and I have a completely different perception of them. And I'm not yet working with stars and such. Work with known faces, but not celebrities. So for me, like in the team, my team size is like what, 40, 50 people in my day unit, sometimes about 85, 90, and sometimes maybe
Hmm.
100. Uh, but yeah, for me, it is like I think it's a family, like what Param was saying. Even the films I'm making now, Telugu films, like everybody is like a friend. I'm not the producer, so I go to the set, everybody's standing. So there I am. All that is not. Everybody can talk, anybody can talk to me. I can talk. They can talk to anybody and communicate. Then I think it's just about coming together to make that film because you know your budgets, you know everything, you know the story. Everybody is aware of what the film script is. Everybody is given sort of equal importance, and their opinions are also taken into consideration. And it's really nice. I enjoy working on this. But like festival, like what Param was saying, that was an interesting process for us because we were all 15 of us. I think were staying in one 3 BHK flat. Um, one of the juniors from Abhay Turkey,
Yeah.
so he had joined us. He was interning in production, and the film was so challenging that we 50% of the film was happening in the dump yard. It was one of the massive dump yards in India, and it was really crazy for all of us. So that's what like I'm saying. If it was a commercial film, I think it is. You just probably make a set of a dump yard and do something. But here the director was so you know sure of his film, and he wanted it to be there, and we had to take crew that will uh, be there to work for that, and basically everybody is just trying to help him make his film. But yeah, like we used to talk a lot about it, talk a lot, and sit in one place and work. We were all not from that city, and Param, yeah, he helped us a lot on that, whatever he could, because
By
he's already
chance.
worked in Kolkata by then, right?
Yeah.
He worked in, yeah, so it is challenging in some ways. I think they have their challenges. I think I have my challenges. For me now, there's a lot more on my head. Like last time when we spoke, Param was saying, and whatever we made so till now, I think nothing has gone out yet. Nothing has gone out yet.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so
that's
much,
me and Dinesh.
yeah, and
Whatever we worked on hasn't released. We
yeah,
don't know when it will.
it's been 2 years. 2 years. Been working on so many films and nothing. For me, I think there's so much more pressure because I am promising the investors, or if when I was the EP, promising the producer that I will okay fine, I will make it. Now
Hmm.
it's on so much. There's so much pressure in my head and so many challenges, and then you're trying to go and sell this film. So you have to be careful from now about how you save and what you do and how to take it there. What happens in censor, what happens post that. How are you doing? Different. How can you monetize from whatever you make. Like, okay, you can sell music rights, you sell satellite rights, you make a theatrical, you're doing an OTT. How much time does that take? And it taught me a lot of patience. It just like, now he and I think we started working almost at the same time, right, Karan? I think in fact, he started a little before I did, but I was already doing corporate and ad films, but I think
Correct.
he do feature films and he started before I did. And it's really very difficult and you have to answer to so many people every day. Everybody knows that I've been working on so many films, but every time it's like I just have to escape from everybody to answer about when is this coming out, because I am also not sure. After a point, you just sign an authorization and you just wait for things to happen. So yeah.
That's damn interesting, man. Manish, what do you work on a bigger project, right? Like how is it different?
I think it's like, yeah, it is a commercial project, and I completely agree with what Param said. But I feel there's a hierarchy is deeply ingrained in commercial projects in India,
Yeah.
and 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 you will find people on a film set who are just who are craving that passion among each other that someone like Dinesh experiences. Uh, like it would be it's difficult to talk to people uh, at a much higher position. Uh, I feel the one project that I have worked on is somewhere fallen between what Param was describing and what Dinesh described. Uh, it has been a constant fight to just keep the passion going. Also because it was a very interesting project. So there were days when everyone is involved into just putting something in that scene, from the gaffer to the cinematographer to one of the light guys to someone in setting. The directors have also been very approachable, so it was a very nice set to work on. Anyone could approach the directors and just give suggestions, and the directors would either keep them or just explain to them why it wouldn't work. So
Wow.
for the most part of it, it was a very healthy film set. So that was
I
nice.
think that's the best part, Manish. Like I think that is where learning happens. I mean,
Definitely.
Yeah.
because
Like,
film school or a university is just about uh, we are not. I mean, when you step out, it is completely different. What you do in college is completely. It's just very very basic. You go out there and you experience. I think that is what teaches you so much. Like every day is so much learning for all of us. And if you, it's really nice. Like the people are there who are sort of explaining to you why it is not going to work, why it will work, and then they take up the suggestion. So I think it should be a friendly process also. But yeah, there should be a limit to it. I think even on smaller sets, it's also about the time we go and approach this. Say if the shot is happening and then you go tell them something, I think it is not right. So it's also about you should know when to probably go and talk and things. Yeah, but it's nice to know that okay, so there are people who are willing to listen to their ADs or any other.
yeah, it did feel like a post graduation of sorts, because like I described last time also, I was there for since the first draft of the script till the final render was sent to Hotstar.
Wow.
So I've like seen it, and it's been very open. There have been ideas I've given that have resulted in the final shot. Uh, and the scope of the film is also very large. It's a science fiction comedy, uh,
Okay.
and so there was a lot to do in a 6 episode miniseries, and it was just yeah,
Of course.
but yeah.
I have a question. Is it uh, so the topics that you make films at a smaller scale, are they limited by the money or are they limited by the grit of the topic? Now, this is a personal question that I have. Like a science fiction, can it be made at a smaller scale? This, I think
Yeah,
it can.
uh,
Totally.
it
Tarkovsky
can
made it
exactly.
with nothing. There's also like there's a Stanley Kubrick who'll approach NASA for bloody a lens. They'll make it from him and he'll make a 2001. And then there's Tarkovsky who's literally shooting in ravines, natural locale. I don't know what money and what camera, but they both
Yeah.
pulled off great films. So I think it's I would say it's the grit. If you really have some clear vision. Anurag Kashyap always says, I don't know if you guys know it, but he says I write a story and I go to my producers and I tell them, this is my story, how much will you give me? And suppose the producer says 5 crores, then he changes everything and makes it in 5 crores.
5 crore.
They're
Yeah.
gonna say 50, you would have made it in 50. That's how I think it should be.
Yeah, that's interesting thing that to know our budgets
Yeah.
in and out makes so many things so easy. Because I hear about so much in industry and like just goes double, triple the budget that they plan for. It's really like a headache for producers.
Also, I think right now there is no excuse to make a bad film. You it's not okay for someone to say that I made this film because the public wants to watch it. They don't want to watch it. Like movie is at an all-time high subscription in India. People are watching that kind of uh, the people are watching good cinema, and Amazon, Netflix, Hotstar, Sony, Z, they're all asking for people like us to make something new. Uh, so I guess if we've cracked the concept, the idea, um, you will find resources to successfully make it.
And hence, I think, it's very important to work as an AD, and also I would say spend some time in production, because knowing your budgets is such a crucial thing for a director, like such a crucial skill. But most directors are completely clueless. They are like living in a parallel dream. Matlab, he's visualized the film, but someone has to tell him, sir, 10 crores matlab this much. He doesn't understand. He's thinking he's making 100 crore film. He's asked for like 250 juniors. He's like, sir, that's not possible.
Right.
Which would be so much easier if only had he seen a budget sheet in his life. But they never do.
It's true, that's true.
Yeah.
That's also one thing. Okay, sorry, Sarvesh. I was just there's a thought we often talk about it, that directors should be given equity in the project. You know how big directors, then they're given the title as an executive producer. I think that should be the case with all directors. Now, if the director has a stake in the project, he'll never ask for that extra 50 juniors. He'll know that money is going out of his pocket too. He'll be smart
Yeah.
about it, and everyone will be happy. Because most of the time, the production is just beating their heads. Like, what are these bizarre requirements? What is this nonsense? That's what spoils the mood. Easily avoidable.
Uh, that's what spoils our moods because we are like
Ha.
working on that thing. But do you think that that's somehow also sometimes you're forced to find a solution that actually pushes the scene or the shot or the film by a little more. Like if the director asks for something very grand and the production doesn't uh, like it's that's very expensive for the production, that negotiation actually comes makes us come to a middle ground which is very good for the shot. So the director should
Possible.
always ask for it.
That's the thing. Not always. If you pick your battles and you stick to what's important, then yes, the film benefits. But if you stick your neck out for everything,
Yeah.
then I've often seen by the end of the project, the production is out of money. So on the 40th day of shoot, they literally have no money, and the crew is the stand-in, and production Innova is the vehicle passing. That's all you get. There's no money, which should have been avoided if you only, were not a tyrant all through.
Communication, I think, yeah, that will
Yeah,
solve so many
yeah.
things. producer or the director or the EP and the director, I think will never talk about this and they talk about other things. So yeah, it will make things so simpler. I'm
You
frank,
face
a
these
little.
problems though? No?
No, I am like super.
No, no.
I will tell them like no means no. This is not happening. You figure out a way. Because for me, I think every rupee matters so much. I have so many people who are so passionate about films and working with me for like peanuts. I mean, if they're going to commercial films, I think they get good pay. But yeah, of course, starting nobody gets good. And I don't want to. I would rather, if they're asking for some like I'm involved in everything. So if they're asking for 100 extras, where I think only 50 or 80 would be good. I would like to pay that other 50 or 20 to my crew or give them sort of better food or something more exciting than this. I
Nice,
think
yeah.
it's about making the right choice and also talking a lot to your director and your team. So, you're pushing everybody to do something. So, you know your budget so well. Now, if you ask me, like, any film of mine, I know how much I paid everybody. Like, it's all in my head. But once I make a budget sheet, I know that, okay, this is what I have. And in my mind, I know I don't keep checking also too much. So I know that, okay, if my art budget is like, say, 20 lakhs, and I know how much they're spending and how much they'll have. And I will control them there. If possible, I go to set. So that's the kind of privilege that we have on smaller sets. Like, you get to learn all the crafts and you get to be part of everything. There's some, if you see like me in Srishti, that's my first, being my first film, day one of the shoot, the production designer, the art director had to get gunny bags for the rag pickers. And he cut them short because they're kids. The director says, even if they're kids, the bag will be the bag. I mean, you can't cut it short because rag pickers want to fill more into that as much as possible into that. And he went to get the new ones. And I found something nearby. I got that, and that has to be weathered. So I put my hands in the drainage in the dump yard, got it out, weathered. Because for me, if that is not happening, money is going waste,
Correct.
time is going waste. So it's okay for me to go do that. I even did weathering on some of the sets along with the setting boys and the painters.
That really,
Uh,
sets the tone.
yeah, recently, like post COVID, there was one small patchwork that had to happen. And my crew, like I get people from all over India. I'm never taking people from Hyderabad because laziest. I just get people from everybody. Basically, whoever's interested, I get them here, give them stay, food, everything, and then yeah, they're all like a family. So uh, people were not there because of COVID. Everybody spread out. And I was operating boom along with another boom operator in the sound. So it's really not about that hierarchy and everything. And I love it so much that you can be part of everything. And during Srishti, like all my assistants and all the production, there was no production team to be frank. There were people, everybody ran away because of the dump yard and of the stress that they couldn't take. You can ask Abhay about it. He was part of it. Only he was the one because he was also stuck. I think he would have also left maybe. He was stuck because he had come to Kolkata and he was there. You know? So yeah, it's like challenging and like what Manish was saying. I think it's the post graduation that you do post undergrad in film school. So it teaches you so much every day. Yeah, and for me, I'm really lucky to be part of smaller films where you get to interact with everybody, you get to learn from everyone. So sometimes I'm like going and learning something very technical from our DOP or something, and they're so willing. They're all willing to share everything. It's like what I like is the people I brought in here have all become friends and they share their knowledge from all the departments. They talk so much, and when the shoot is not there, they go back, they chill, they're watching films together, discussing about it. So it's like one small network that I've created here, and we're all working together most of the time.
Crazy.
And like the DOP's assistant is there, and he's been assisting me in 2-3 films. Now I've made him DOP for my other film I'm producing. So it's about giving opportunities to these guys and pushing them to do more, and also about learning. Like coming back to that, communication is very important, and that will save like a lot of your money. And I think it's about talking and telling you where, and you should know where you can put a full stop. Saying no. this can't happen. And you have to always remind about it, to the director, to the other department that, "Hey, yahi hai, this is what we're working in. I think we should work in." So when you know your budgets in and out, I think you'll just stick to that. Yeah, but
And as ADs, when you pull off something where you had imagined just because I handle background, you would
yeah,
imagine 50 people. When you pull that scene off with 20, it's really gratifying.
yeah.
I
Like
only
you
got
feel
10.
like, oh, you've saved something for the production. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
what a day.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I think that it's really nice. Though you guys are working for bigger budgets, you're still thinking about that, because I think we're people who be like, हाँ मेरा क्या जा रहा है भाई, चलो करेंगे. Director said this or who said this, we'll
Yeah,
do it.
those are not the good ADs.
That's what. So I'm saying, there are like both.
And smaller films sound like, from what you're describing, they sound very exciting right now, because the kind of experience I've had, I would look at heads of departments and I would question if they ever had a passion for filmmaking, because it doesn't look like it. Like I said before, also after the first few days of shoot, it just felt like nothing is creative anymore, like other than what is going in and around with the directors. Nothing felt creative. Nobody spoke films. Nobody spoke about why, the kind of things they were doing. Like how Dinesh described how everyone would do everything. I think that's a very good attitude to have on a film set. But on a commercial project, I feel people will only do what they are supposed to, and it's like, if if I have to pick up an art piece from next to me, I would be like, no, I'm not touching that. I'll wait for someone from setting to come and do it. It's that level of hierarchy. It's that level of
But as
just,
ADs, we can bypass all that, right? Like we can do
yeah,
practically
we do
whatever.
it. We do it, but a lot of other people around me would not do it. So like there were days when I would just forget that I'm like, yeah, okay, this is a film. This is what people study. This is what I've studied. This is,
True.
I never felt like that passionate.
Yeah,
After
like I
after the
think
12 to 12 shift, everyone would just go to their room and sleep, or just
yeah, like what Param just said, that about 9 to 9. Oh, you just do this and then you go back and then crash. I'm so tired. Yeah, I think how it is different here is not that. Yeah, it would be a little privileged to lost and make more. You won't believe Yogi that you're party karna Param was in.
Hmm.
He shot Srishti, and we are friends from almost 8 years. So he's from Annapurna, and when we were doing first cut, I used to ask him to send entries and his batchmates. So we were all friends. We used to work as freelancers together on corporate films and ad films and all that. So we worked on Srishti, and then we worked after that. He worked with me on a film called Pachis. He shot, and his assistants. These guys are so good. I think nobody does. So he worked on one of the Telugu, and he was doing internship. He from college. They put him in one of the Telugu commercial film sets. There were 10 assistants in cinematography team, I think, and he was telling me that he could not talk to them. He could not talk to the associate cinematographer also, or he could only talk to him. I don't know. I'm not sure. Can't recall. But he could never talk to the DOP. You can't even dare to talk to him or something like that. He just ran from them because he said, "This is pointless, man. I mean, if I'm shooting with a Mark back then, like this was Mark 3 days, yeah. If I'm shooting with a Mark 3 or anything, I'm still learning to light to with my frames, and I have something to do and something creative. It's not about what equipment you're using. Like, when we spoke about festivals and the films, I think Param told about this Tamil Nadu guys. So yeah, like you just go and do something where you can learn, even if it's a corporate film or an ad film, using smaller equipment and you're doing something by yourself. There is learning, and even his assistants, whoever joins him in any film, like we have what 3 assistants in channel 2. We don't need more than that, so we just have like 3 people other than the attendants that come with the camera. So these 3 guys, he makes a WhatsApp group. He teaches them lighting. If there's a frame that is done today, he will take that again, discuss about that. What could have been better, or what do you guys have in mind? Teaches more about technical things. Sometimes gives them to operate the second unit.
Wow.
So it is like challenge. It is like, interesting for these guys also to sort of put in more efforts and learn and work. I think same with the direction team and all the teams that we have now. The film I'm doing, the sound recordist, he was like, he asked me for a boom operator, about a particular boom operator, and I said we don't have so much money. What do you think? He said, since there's time for shoot, just give me anybody who's passionate about sound. I will teach him in these 20 days, and then we can, get him to do, get him to operate. And I actually got him somebody who's sort of interning and he's learning now. So for us, the challenges are different, and it's like a film school. It's like you're making your grad film every day, you know. So it's like that, where you know how we did our grad films with very less resources, and everybody is discussing and doing things. And our friends are helping us out with a lot of things. If you remember, my Param, I think, watched my grad film.
I've seen
I
that.
don't have a copy of it also. I'm very unhappy with that, but I got the best grad film then. So from back then only, I think, for we didn't have. I think now they're giving funds. Flame gives funds.
Yeah.
For we didn't have anything like that, and I used to come back to Hyderabad 3 days in a week. I used to be in Hyderabad 3 days, 4 days in Pune, 3 days here. So I picked my courses also like that during my last trimester, so I can come here, do casting, do everything, set up locations, everything, and then you shoot your grad film and you go back. So 3 days here, 4 days there, 3 days here, 4 days there. Did that, and that also taught me a lot. I didn't work with anybody from Flame. It was all my friends from Hyderabad. So I shot on 1DX, I shot on CP2 lenses, and
Nice.
there was no art director. We were doing
Wow.
things. We took a house, we set it up, got furniture from our houses, my friends' houses, put it, set it up. So it was a lot of learning for me. That I was actually lucky that I used to do corporate and ad films and documentaries even when I was studying in Flame. If there was a project, I used to travel and come back. So it was a lot of learning. That's what. So from there to here, every day, even now, it is learning, learning, learning. From all these guys, the smallest of things also teaches you so much. That will help you for your next day or your next film. I think, yeah,
Definitely.
very lucky to be part of smaller projects. In fact, last month I got an offer from one of the OTTs to be the EP.
Nice.
I didn't like it. I went to their office. That was my first HR interview ever. I made a resume for that. I went there. I sat in their office. They were asking me so many questions. Uh, Everything was okay. They were giving like a bombast pay, everything. But when I saw the place itself, I knew this is not for me. I think I should be somewhere where I can run around, do things, learn things, pick up stuff. You know. For there, it is like, more like going to an office, very corporate. Like you go to, there are 5 projects happening that the OTT is producing. So you go to all 5, go like an income tax officer, sort of see, budget mein ho raha hai ki nahi hai, kya kar rahe hai. Just see that and then tick things off, paperwork, come back and submit. Not my thing, so I didn't take it up. So that's what I think it's about. Yeah, your passion versus everything. I'm not very like I haven't watched enough films. I'm going to be very frank here. I haven't watched enough content. I watch a lot of regional films. I like watching regional films. I watch Malayalam, Tamil, Bollywood, some other films. I try to now. I watch so much that everything that is out I watch to sort of understand the market. What budgets are making good profits, and what budgets are doing well, and what kind of stories are being sent to which kind of OTTs, and what are the models they're working on. These things interest me. So yeah. Sorry, I deviated too much. I think should just ask Bharam or Manish to talk now.
No. Those were some great insights from each one of you. And I would like to wrap this session up. It was nice talking to you guys. Especially if now that I think of it, I understand where First Cut comes from. And now I look at you guys, and you are in the industry, you are working at different spaces in different timelines. And I think it's thoda inspirational, at least for me. I don't know what people will feel like, but it is. So I thank you guys for coming here tonight, for making time for Postcard, and I hope I see you guys again.
Definitely. Thanks a lot,
Thank you
Sarvesh.
so much.
We also had a good
Yes,
time.
thank you. Yeah.